get started. Okay, good evening, everyone, and welcome to this special edition of Teen Talk Live. I am your host, Ann Dillard, licensed marriage and family therapist, and I'm just so excited. You all don't know how excited I am to be here with my special guest tonight. I have with me and help me welcome author Miss Janika Joyner, LCSW, and she is one of my fellow co-authors in the book Unchain, My Legacy. And I'm so glad that Janika is here. And she has a special treat for us tonight, too, because she brought her mommy on with us. And we are delighted to have Joan here with us. Thank you all and welcome.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you. Hello.
Absolutely. I'm going to try to share this out to my page because I started broadcasting now from my business page. And so this is kind of new for me. So thank you for sharing in this experience with me.
Yeah.
Just 1 second here and we're going to get started. So if you can see it on my Facebook page, go ahead and share it so that we can get people on to hear this conversation, because I think it's going to be a really, really good conversation for us to have tonight.
So yeah, how would I share it?
Just hit share at the bottom. And I can see that Patrice is here. Be really good conversation for us. So I'm working on the technical stuff here. Okay. So did you see it? Can you share it? Hey, Trees. Thank you for joining us. Oh my goodness. Hey, Tanya. I'm so glad you're here. Tanya says, hey, Janika and Mom.
Hey, my co-author sisters.
I am so glad you're here. Audra is here watching and Bridget is here. And they are representing tonight to hear about your story. So I'm going to jump right in. Tonight, I have the honor again of having a special guest, Janika. She is a fellow co-author in the Unchain, My Legacy anthology. And this is a book that 12 of us came together to write under the leadership of Audra R. Upchurch, dynamic, visionary author. And so she's brought women together to talk about their stories and to document how they resolve their issues so that these things aren't passed on to our children and our children's children. Okay, so tune in for this conversation. And if you're here, please share it out, because this is such a story of hope. It's a story of redemption. And I'm just so excited to be the one to share it. Okay, so hey, co-authors, Sabra say woohoo, Unchain, My Legacy authors. So everybody's here, Illy is here, and I'm just excited. So thank you all again. I'm gonna stop talking so we can get started. Yeah. Welcome, Janika. Tell us, how do you serve in the world?
Okay. Shout out to my Deck 11 sisters before I start. I tell people that I wasn't a person that, chose to be in this field. The field chose me. I was always the one that people came to link them to resources, take me here. Janika, do you know about this? And I started to notice that I felt good when I was helping others. So that's the altruism that came out. Yeah. I share a little bit about what I wanted to do and what God had for me to do. So what I wanted to do is not my purpose. My purpose is helping others heal. And I was doing that, but hadn't done my own stuff. And that's how I ended up in this book, and with the owning it, my journals and working. I'm a trauma therapist by trade, but I'm a servant of the community. I'm a servant of my people. first. I believe strongly in helping others because we can't do it alone. And, we rise by lifting others. So I strongly believe that, and decided to pursue, my degree in social work, become a therapist, pursuing my dissertation. I'm all but dissertation on top of everything else. But I didn't allow my experiences growing up to be a crutch for me or dictate what I could do, and use that as an excuse to not excel and do more.
Wow, that's pretty powerful. I can see from reading your story, and I read your story, and if you could see, these are like questions I want to ask, like, oh, can I find out all the stuff? But we'll just give a little bit about the story because we want people to buy the copy of the book for themselves, because there are 12 amazing stories in this book, Unchain, My Legacy. So look for that coming out soon. So I can see what you meant by the field chose you. Mm-hmm. And I'm reading your story, and let me turn just to this part right here. And it says, you were talking about in your classroom, you were talking about how you were hiding from some of the emotions. And it says, so what do? I became the class. What did I do? I became the class clown, making people laugh to hide the pain I felt by being called names and bullied also, because I didn't want to bother my grandparents who had taken on the responsibility of raising me. Where was my mother? She was on drugs. Welcome, Mom. I'm so glad that you're joining us, and I'm so delighted for the courage that you have and your journey and the process that you've gone through. What does it feel like to hear that from your daughter?
Well, the things that she endured as a child, I had no knowledge of. I read the chapter before coming on, and we both cried. I never knew my baby went through that, and I just immediately, when I started reading, wanted to reach out and hug her and embrace her and tell her mommy's here, But I'm just glad that we are in the healing process, and that our past does not define who we are today.
Wow, when you said that, I didn't want to start so early, but when you said that, it really touched me, because all through this chapter, she was talking about all she wanted was to be with her mom. And so for you to be able to be in that space where you could reach out and hold her, I'm like, that is a miracle.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it is.
And it just happened maybe an hour ago, because I felt like that little girl, and that need just got met now in my 30s, but I still felt that release. And that's why we were both crying, because she couldn't do it then, but god dang it, she did it now. And I'm so thankful that I get to experience it now, because some kids don't get it. They don't get it
at all.
Nope.
And here you are in your 30s, and how powerful is that you are, it's not too late.
No.
Mm-mm. And so I thank you for your courage again, and thank you for your journey. So tell me about one of the strong points, Janika, in your story that you really want to get across to the audience.
Well, I think it's just what happened is that I had to get an education to understand that addiction is a disease. It's not an excuse, it's a disease. It doesn't just affect the person using it, affects the whole family. And I was able to get that information from being in a college classroom to share with my mom, and she jumped on it. So it's like, oh my gosh, if I never went to college, what would have been our outcome? but I did, and I was sitting in the classroom and learned about the Chesapeake Community Service Board, and I did my internship there. And the fact that I said go and she went, and I'm not sure if everyone knows, and she just made it clear to me that I said it, that I told her I would rather her, be dead than to keep living the life that she was living, coming back and forth into me and my son's life at the time. I only had one son. So I'm glad I said it,
Wow.
because otherwise I wouldn't have my mommy back.
Joan, what did that feel like when she told you that she would rather have you dead than to be coming in and out? Because she said you're on missions. So she would rather have you dead than to be coming in and out on your missions.
It felt like someone putting a bullet in my heart, because when I'm high, I have no emotions. I was down that morning when she said, but I was coming off one of my missions, and she said that to me, and I cried like a baby the whole night. And the next morning when I woke up, I told her, I'm going to go check myself into Chesapeake substance abuse for 6 months, outpatient service. And I did that. And they then, after talking to me for I was going once a week in the beginning. And then they said, you don't belong here. You know what you want out of life. You just need a little help. So they referred me to the Narcotics Anonymous program, which is where I learned that addiction is a disease, and it's also a family disease. You are never cured. It's only arrested. It can come out in all types of forms: eating, sex, stealing. Once the drug is taken away, we still have the behaviors. You have to deal with the behaviors. That's where the step work comes into play.
Right.
So I will be in recovery for the rest of my life. I attend those meetings right today.
Wow.
Sharing my story helps another addict.
Right.
Teach one, reach one, and on a daily basis, we have other addicts coming in, newcomers, as we call them. And just to hear somebody come up to you and say, thanks for sharing, your story touched me. And then to see that person celebrate a year clean is amazing.
Right. And you're passing on that legacy, because the story that Janika is sharing, both your stories, that's bringing hope and life to people. And so again, thank you. I'm going to take just a quick pause to check in on the comments, because people are just so excited to hear you and to share this journey with you. And Audra says, we all want, let's see. She said, welcome, Mom. We're glad you're here. Dr. Reggie is here. Thank you for joining us. Miranda, thanks for joining us. In Velvet and Shania, thanks for being here. Patrice said, woohoo, baby star sister. And so our viewers are commenting, and Gloria is here. Patrice says, Scorpio trademark, making people laugh through our pain. And that's so true. And let's see. Patrice say, hey, Mom, you are a brave, wonderful woman. And those are my sentiments exactly. Audra said, all we want our mothers validation. And that is so, so true. And she says, I'm happy for you. Bridget says, thank God for restoring. And yes. And Patrice says, addiction is not an excuse, it's a disease. Yes, Patrice, it is a disease. Tanya says, now I'm glad you're willing, Mom, and your story will help others. I'm happy for you both. So yes, your story is helping others. So Janika, right before we came out, we were discussing your chapter, and we were talking about how you made up your mind to get revenge. Can you tell us about the revenge that you made up your mind to get?
Oh, that's simple. I was going to hurt those who, hurt my mother. by introducing her to drugs. Now, I didn't necessarily know them in person. I didn't know who they were by name. But if you were a bad boy, drug dealer, I was going to date you. I was going to treat you like crap because to me, I'm getting you back, you know, symbolically. I was getting you back for hurting my mom. I know you didn't serve her, but you could have. So if it was a possibility, you were going to get this wrath.
Wow. Well, and we talked about, you know, the loyalty, even though our parents aren't what, you know, the ideal parents that we think that we want them to be. As a child, there's still that deep loyalty and that love. And you said that in spite of everything that was going on, you never hated your mom.
I hated it. Once I found out what it was it that I hated. It was never her, you know, because I wasn't, and my brothers, we weren't put in foster care. She didn't pimp me out for drugs. She didn't take our money and leave us in the house with no food and no electricity. So I wasn't mad at her. She had enough sense to send us to our grandparents to be raised. So I was never, you know, upset at her because I'm like, she could have done that. And she didn't. So again, I said in the chat, but thank you, Mama. Yeah.
That's so special. Yes, yes. What did that feel like, Joan?
It felt when I read the chapter and I read that passage there, and she said, "Thank you, Mommy," because it, you know, it could have went any other way. I was sort of relieved because in a lot of the stories I hear, it's always a sexual assault story to go along with it, and that no matter how high I got, I could never phantom that thought. You know, a lot of my family sold drugs, so I never really was like tricking or doing the other stuff. But not to say we as addicts, we never say never.
Right.
Because we can relapse at any time.
Right.
Those nevers become reality.
Yeah.
But as my daughter was small and coming up, the first 3 years of her life, I was there. I wasn't doing drugs or anything. And I knew that my daughter would be something. My daughter used to take turtleneck shirts and put them on their skirts and take the arms and wrap them around. And she would walk around the house in my high heels. And when she would do that, I said, my baby's gonna be a superstar one day. She's gonna help somebody. And here she is.
Wow.
They tell that story to everybody. They tell that story to everybody, every function. They have pictures too.
Oh my goodness. See,
Yeah.
I told you that's the librarian in you.
Yes, let us go to our ancestry.com.
Yes, yes. That is such a wonderful memory to have. And you said that you were with your daughter till she was like 3 years old. And I'm not your therapist, but I can't help but notice patterns. Because then you said you were with your grandkids till they become daycare age.
Mm-hmm.
So it makes me wonder, what is it about that age and that time that drew you back out?
Well, I think I kind of felt like they were going to be okay. They had their foundation, as you know, and that I can go out and be free.
Wow.
Which wasn't necessarily true, but that was
Right.
my thinking at the time.
Right, right. And you know, I as a clinician myself, I believe in the contextual theory that talks about we're all born with ledgers and we're trying to balance the ledger from the previous generation so we can only give what we've been given, and we take away from our children also what's been taken away from us.
Yes.
And unless we make intentional decisions and choices, we end up repeating those cycles.
Yes.
So Janika, another part that stood out to me in the story. I mean, it was all good. It had me on edge, and
What?
it really did. And so I'm trying to find it. You said this went on for a long time. From that moment on, I had my mind made up that I was not going to depend on anybody or allow them to feel like I owed them. My dark skin and features had begun to garner attention from the opposite sex and not those of my age.
Hmm.
I when I read that, it reminded me of the movie Roxanne, Roxanne. I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah, I did. I saw that.
And
Yeah.
how, you know, can you speak to that a little bit?
Well, being that I saw my mother need men to provide for her, to get what she needed, you barely work. You work on and off. And the men were helping her, and I'm like, no, I use that as I'm not going to be that way. Because then I could be, like my mom, and I didn't want to be like her in that way.
Right.
So when I developed, I was always approached by older men. Even the boys in my high school wouldn't ask to date me because they thought I was older. When I got to ninth grade, everyone thought I was a senior because I had this pseudo maturity. Even though I was short, I still had, a shape. So walking to the stores, I would meet, guys. And when I was 14, I had a 19-year-old boyfriend, and met him at church, and he would drive down from Charlottesville to meet me. But again, it was that for a little bit, I had that attention that wasn't, it filled that void of the insecurity that I had at the time. And it was superficial, but when what did they say? Some attention is better than none. So I got mine, honey, got in the club and you ran with it. I was clubbing at age 12.
Wow.
Yeah. And
And
they would know who I was once I said, that's that's Dee Dee's daughter. Oh, you look just like your mama when she was young, the older men. And it would be, okay, sir, but are you gonna buy me a drink? What are we doing? Yes, I'm her daughter, so buy me a drink. Or, yes, that's who I was, and I got to go on the dates and, get wine and dine. I'm all right, on to the next one, because you might want something out of me. Right. And if I decided, that was that, but no, we're gonna keep it moving.
wow. Wow.
Yeah.
And I mean, this story is so amazing because being out there at 12, 13, like you said in the book, you didn't really have a mother available to teach you these things. So being out there at that age, you was subject to a whole lot of stuff.
Oh yeah. Now that I've looked back on, I mean, there were a lot of times I knew my grandmother was praying for me because I'm still telling her stuff that I did as a teenager just so I can get off my chest. I'm like, oh yeah, and by the way, Mom, I forged your name and signed myself out of school, but I came back. So I'm still telling her stories about things that I did. And I mean, I know I was saved by some prayers because I've been in a lot of, situations where I'm like, wow, that could have went south really quick, or I could have lost my freedom.
Right.
I was with drug dealers, so yeah.
Exactly. So you alluded to the fact that your grandmother was praying for you. When you finally decided to find what filled that void, what was it that filled that void in you? What was that?
It was a combination of my mom getting clean, me having a child to slow me down, and my faith. I've always had, that voice in the back of my head, or I can hear it, and God saying, like, this isn't you, you're better than this. I love you regardless. But, we push that to the side. We want to keep doing what we're doing. So I think it was, it was a combination. When I saw my mom get clean, I'm like, okay, year one, year two, okay. So not knowing it because it's happening now. So when it's happening, you're in the midst of it, you're not aware of it. But right. I started and this is something that I just started to recognize. I've been natural for 7 years. My mom would have been clean for 7 years. So I started to really accept me when she got clean.
Wow.
I started to embrace my natural self when she got clean. I started to go to church more when she got clean. You know, so all of this was her getting clean set me free.
Wow. That's powerful. And it's amazing because no matter how old we are, and I think Audra said this, no matter how old we get, we want our mothers, and our mothers are so powerful in our lives. So, wow. Joan, she said that you getting clean set her free. What do you think about that?
I think it's awesome, because I never wanted to hurt my kids. And I know throughout my addiction that they probably were joked, ridiculed, and, subject to shame and everything. And all I ever wanted was to love my kids and the best for them. That's why I gave them to my mother. And, today I'm just so happy that I'm here with her and we're taking this journey together.
That's so amazing. If you are joining us, we have Joan and Janika, and they are sharing their story. It's a powerful story of love and forgiveness and redemption and healing and all that good stuff. And even though things aren't perfect, they are on this journey together. And it's given us a lot of hope. And share this video out so that other people can get hope from this. And if you're here with us tonight, just drop your questions or your comments in. Tanya said, "I'm happy also, Mom." Everybody is just really excited for you. Hey, Farah, thank you for joining. And they're really excited for you. So drop your questions and your comments in so that we can utilize this time to help spread some more hope. Illy says, "Thank you, Mama, for unchaining Janika's legacy. She's such a beautiful spirit. And because of your work, her work will unchain many others. Thank you, ladies, for sharing your story." So that is
thanks, Audra, for the opportunity to do this.
Yes.
Isn't that a powerful opportunity? And I mean, this is really great, and I'm appreciating it because, again, this is a special edition of Teen Talk Live because the story needs to be told. And I read the story in our newly released anthology, Unchain My Legacy, and this is going to be on Amazon soon. So if you all want to purchase a copy of this, if you want to be notified when the book is out on Amazon, please drop your name in the comments and send me the order link so that we can make sure that you get it. The electronic version is coming out on June 27th, and we want to make sure that you get a copy of it. And so as we continue our conversation, we got a few more minutes before we wrap up. What I would ask you, Janika, what would you say to daughters or children whose moms are still lost in addiction? Because I have many clients, and you might too, being a trauma specialist. I have many clients who are being parented by their grandparents and, other family members, or they're in foster care and they're yearning for their moms like you yearn for your mom. What would you say to those children?
Don't give up hope, and just love on them regardless, because again, it's not you. I felt that it was something wrong with me because she chose it over me, but it's not your fault. There's nothing wrong with you. It's a disease, and just pray and keep loving on your parent and have faith that they may, even if they're only clean for 30 days, you get them for 30 days. Even if they're clean for a year, great, but just don't give up hope. Don't hate them. And that's one thing that my mom can say. I never told her I hated her, because I didn't. I was mad at it. I hated it, the addiction. If it was a person, I would punch it in the face and hit it with the umbrella, but I just want you to know, if your parent is out there, just love on them, and just keep loving on them the best way you can. If it's toxic for you, I didn't have to deal with that, but you can't, put yourself in those situations. You can't do it for them. You can just give them the resources or suggest, but they have to hit rock bottom. That's something that I've learned about addicts. They have to hit their rock bottom. And my mom's rock bottom was me telling her that I would rather her be dead. And you know what? I don't regret it now, because she's here and she's not using, and hasn't for 7 years. But they have to surrender and hit their rock bottom. And that's something that I've learned. So just be patient, love on them, and you do your part to be the best, child, not enabling, but, just say, I still love you, Mom. Whenever they come around, they're clean, or they're sober for the moment. Just love on them in that moment.
Right. And, I appreciate you saying that. And you shared a story about your mom told you about you not hating her. Can you tell our audience that story? What did you?
Oh, yeah. So we were talking about this process before I started writing the chapter, and I wanted to make sure I got my mom's permission, like as Audra instructed. And she said, you used to bring my Christmas gifts to the crack house. I'm like, what? But at the time, again, it was a family member that she was with, and that's where they did drugs. You think of a crack house, you think of rundown, and it wasn't that way. The house had furniture, running water, But I did take her Christmas gifts or birthday gift, wherever she was. I knew where she was sometimes. So I did take them to her. I mean, that's my mom.
Wow. So, Joan, what would you say to mothers who are still struggling with an addiction, and they have daughters or sons, children who are yearning for their attention and their love? What would you say to those mothers?
I would say to them that no matter what the day throws at you, you never have to use again. Just take it one day at a time. Seek help. There is recovery, there is church, there is therapists. Any way you want to do it, just do it, but don't try to do it by yourself. You cannot do this. This is a we disease, and we all are in this together. The only way I got clean was I had to take the focus off of me and realize that I wasn't alone. I had to go around people that were just like me, and it really gave me that balance. Church, the rooms, and it allowed me to be me and to tell my story without being judged. So if you're struggling with the disease of addiction, you never have to use again. Just seek help.
Wow. And for those who think that they're not, and they could stop when they want, you pointed out something really significant. You said that your addiction didn't start with crack. Can you tell us the progression of that disease so that those who might be questioning can identify what you have experienced?
Yes, I started off smoking marijuana, and then I was introduced to the alcohol. After the alcohol came the snorting of the powder. After the powder, they started the crack cocaine. Crack cocaine is very, very powerful. You go from 0 to 100 in a matter of weeks. And its progression is powerful, and like I said, I wanted to stop, but I just didn't know how to stop. And when I went and checked myself into Chesapeake Substance Abuse, they taught me how by referring me to the program of Narcotics Anonymous. And Narcotics Anonymous saved my life.
Wow. And do you still go to this day? Do you still use the program?
Yes, I use the program today. Like I said, the disease of addiction, there's no cure. It's just arrested. It can come out at any time. So I will be in this program for the rest of my life because I choose to.
Right.
Because it's my balance, church and the rooms. It's my balance. It keeps me where I need to be. It keeps me grounded. It's my foundation.
Right. Right.
And like I said, the Lord not only saved me from myself, but it also allowed me to be able to donate a kidney to my mom. And for that, I am forever grateful.
So after getting clean, you realized your mom needed help. So you didn't just help your daughter, but you also went back and helped your mom by donating a kidney to her.
Yes, 3 years. It's been 3 years, March the 17th.
What a gift. Could you have done that if you weren't clean?
No, because I had to go through a battery of tests. I had to be clean. That's first and foremost. They wouldn't take me if I was using. So I went through like a year of pokes and prods, blood work and everything before I could even be approved to do this for her. So yes, my recovery saved my life, my family's, and my mom's, And that for that, like I said, I'm forever grateful to my daughter because she gave me that push that I needed.
Wow.
When no one else would.
So you are unchaining legacy, you're unchaining previous generation. You just unchaining all over the place. And by you being clean, helping your daughter, that sets a better or a stronger legacy for your grandchildren as well.
Yes.
Wow.
Like I said, me being clean has afforded me a life that I never thought possible. I have a job that I've had now for going on 3 years, but I've worked other jobs since then, and I own a home now. And the company that I work for is a 500 Fortune company that I have keys to and lock the buildings up. They trust me. So, I never thought in my wildest dreams, I thought I would die getting high because I didn't know there was an out until my daughter introduced it to me. So
Wow.
for that, I am forever grateful to her.
Thank you so much for sharing that. And Joseph said, very good advice and great information. Thank you so much for your transparency and your courage to share. I appreciate this information. And Tree said, go mama, go. This is so awesome. I'm so glad again that you chose this forum to share your story, to appear together. What's in the future for you, Janika, with this book, your mom, and your story?
I guess to share as much as we can. Steve Harvey. And it's somebody we're gonna take this worldwide. But definitely to continue to work on how our relationship, has started to change, and we're healing together and continue healing, because again, we're at the 7-year mark, but this is just the beginning. They say, 7 is the year of completion, but for us, we're just starting. We're just really starting. And seeing how we could grab my grandmother and put her into something also, because again, she's here. We have her to, as the matriarch of our family, who, taught us not to show a lot of emotion, but we got to break old Joni down too. So get her involved. But yeah, I just see myself serving more, being open. Again, I'm just happy. I'm thankful. My mom is here. She's on this journey with me and not, afraid. And we're doing it together.
Wow. And is your grandma, I know I got to meet your grandma earlier, and she open to this journey with you?
Well, she'll say her piece, but I think she will be once she sees us. I think she will be, because she's held all this together for this whole time.
Exactly. And to see her prayers coming to reality, I think that is so amazing that she got a chance to see this happening. Let me check in on the comments. Patrice says Tyler Perry is gonna make a movie about you too, co-starring me with her purple.
That's right. That's right, big sis. And Tyler Perry's gonna make a movie about us. That's right.
Yeah. And Illy says she's so happy for you too. And we're coming to the 1 hour mark, and I'm just so grateful again for you being here, and I'm really happy for you, and I'm really touched that you chose this forum to share your story, especially one that's so fresh and so raw. You just read the book an hour ago, and that means a lot to me. So I want you, Janika, to tell people how can they find you. And after we're done, I'm going to ask you to drop your contact information in the link.
Okay, well, I am on Facebook, Janika Joyner, Janika Joyner, Joyner. I'm also on Instagram as Elevation, ELEV, the number 8, Elevation, ELEVATION. I have my website, www.elevationcounselingservice.com. Now we'll put all that in the link, well, the links in the comments later.
Exactly. And also, if you are watching us, remember our book, the Amazon electronic version comes out. Yes, it comes out on the 27th of June. If you want to get a personal invite and a personal link to purchase your copy, so you don't want to miss it, because I think it's a limited time that it's going to be out. You don't want to miss it. Send me the link in the comments. Send me the link for the books so that we can make sure that you get your copy, because there are 12 amazing stories in this book. And Janika's is evidence of how thoughtful the authors were in putting their stories out there, because they're serious about unchaining their legacy and creating a better future for their families. And so if there are no more comments, yes, Patrice says, Unchain My Legacy, electronic copy, June 27th. So I'm very excited about that, and I want to make sure everybody gets their copy. So I'm going to challenge you all to share this link, share it out, and I'm going to check in with my guests, see if they have any final comments for our audience, because this has been such an inspiring conversation that we've had, one of hope, redemption, love, repair, and restoration, and all that good stuff. So, is Grandma coming on?
Come here. Yeah, she's coming.
Grandma coming, you are. Grandma coming. All right. Hey, Grandma. Thank you for coming. Yes. She's so beautiful. It's hard to believe that's your grandma, girl.
How old are you, girl? 70. That girl is 70 years old.
70 years old. Well, thank you for all your prayers, and thank you for all that you've contributed to your family. And we're looking forward to how God will continue to use this journey of unchaining to bless your family and others.
Thank you.
Yes, yes. All right, you guys, you have any final comments?
No, I'm just, I'm just glad. I'm just happy. And I just want, hopefully one person will get something out of this and not be afraid or ashamed to own their stuff. I've done it, and we're doing it.
I'm so excited for you all. How about you, Mom? You have any final comments?
Just that always remember, you're never alone. Your story is someone else's. So reach out. Own it. Don't be afraid.
Amen to that. Thank you all. Yes, Joseph said 3 wonderful women. What a blessing. Yes, and what a rich legacy. And I'm so glad that, again, that you shared with us here tonight on Teen Talk Live. I am Ann Dillard, licensed marriage and family therapist, co-author of Unchain, My Legacy, and I am so honored to have you join us here tonight. Please share this out. We want to make sure we get the word out that there is hope. There is hope, even when things seem hopeless, even when you get in your 30s, there's still hope for restoration with your parents, with your moms. And I'm so glad for our guests, Janika and Joan, being here with us tonight. Thank you, everyone, and have a wonderful night.
Good night.
Good night.